Welcome to Midday Repartee. I am Rotten Glory. I'm joined today by the creator of Blood Hunt and Tales from the Natverse. Sim, how are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Hello and welcome, everyone. And
Nice.
the amazing goes with the fact that the books are on their way.
Yes, dude, that is so cool. It's printed, it's on
Yeah,
its way. You're about to put Blood Hunt in people's hands. It's got to feel after it's such a journey. Like the whole arc of running a campaign, doing the work on the book, everything that you have to deal with through that whole process, man, it must feel
and the delays
damn
because of
good.
the pandemic there. So I'm
Yeah,
like I was telling you before, it's like everything was always delayed. So they say, oh, the books are going to be ready on the 6th. I'm like, probably going to be delayed. So so when I woke up yesterday morning, every book and everything's ready. Oh damn! It's the first thing that just went on schedule.
that's so cool. You're like, this is the one thing you were probably planning, like, wouldn't go
Yeah,
smoothly. And it's like, oh, they said the six?
it's
Fucking
ready
the
the 6th.
six?
Yeah.
Wow. Nice, man. That's cool. Who'd you go through on the printer?
It's a local printer called Cayus.
Oh, nice, dude. Very cool.
Yeah. And, like, do you want to come pick it up? I'm like, how much is it for shipping? You go, $25. Well, it's going to cost me like $60 just taking a cab back and forth. So ship it.
That's not bad, man. I mean, I know it's local, but still, that seems really reasonable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Nice.
seven. It's 7 boxes. So.
So, do you think it was there are benefits to working with the printer locally like that, or
Yeah. It's I didn't wait long for my proof. It was just they were just open only 3 hours a day.
oh,
That's
right,
the problem. So you have a very small window to respond to an email and expect an immediate answer.
got you.
So it was email, like takes a day or two for an answer. Phone was like, are they busy or not?
It's printing. It's become a real tough racket. That so many publications and things have gone by the wayside. It's good to know that there's still local printers doing at least doing well enough to keep it running.
Yeah, but they're very busy. But like I'm telling you, they're being able to keep it running with 3 hours a day. Now they're up to 4 hours a day.
Nice.
I'm guessing when they get back to full hours, I won't be waiting that long. Because last time the turnaround was like within like 2 weeks, my book was done.
Yeah.
Like as
Nice.
soon as I was ready with the print file. It's just like I told you, there was delays. There was the change of machinery because of the high level of blacks.
Yes. No, I think, but that's really cool that you made that adjustment. It's going to look better.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, man, and just like you did on the cover as well, um,
Yep. I had to
making
bright it up.
making sure it's all right, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. God, I can't wait for Blood Hunt, man. I got Super Harem yesterday, and damn,
And
fucking great, dude. I read it straight through. It's really engaging. Some beautiful visuals in there, and the story. It's funny, um, and it's not just a comedy. There's real meat to the thing. I think it's a great concept. So
sweet.
yeah, I'm impressed. I think they did a great job, and everything came in perfect condition. It's got oversized prints, super sexy. So yeah, congratulations to Wenger and crew, man. They delivered a great product
Yeah.
for
And Joe
sure.
Ball's art is great.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So what I wanted to dive into is, Marvel and DC. I don't. They're just not. They're not going to fare well in this new landscape that is forming with comics, and creators really are starting to wake up to the fact that going their own way, controlling their own creative output, owning their IPs, and generating their own success is really. ComicsGate was, it's not like ComicsGate invented the indie scene or anything like that, but
Well,
certainly the way it's leveraged YouTube and creating a network of promotion that feeds into itself, it's like this model is so clearly the way to go.
Like I said before, the best thing that came out of CG was to break that stigma that that even Image couldn't really break. Was the fact that people weren't really interested in new IPs; they just wanted pre-existing IPs. Like you
Right.
would, people, artists like us would go to cons, try and promote our characters with prints and stuff like that to see if which character would be interesting, right? But people would always ask us to draw Batman if we draw Superman or if we did this, right? And the CG movement, though, what it did is it broke that stigma. Now a lot of people are okay, like I hope Batman gets better, but now I'm actually interested in finding new creation from new creators, and just that, opened the door for the rest of what you just said.
Exactly. There's this guy. I feel like he's maybe popped up. This YouTube guy, Chris Piers. I think is the YouTube channel is called Comic Tropes.
Yep.
I can't. Okay. I really can't stand the guy.
Yep.
He's like if I even made a little graphic here because he's like if Bleeding Cool had like a love child with CNN. That's the child of that breeding would be this guy. Like he is just he drinks the Kool-Aid. He believes everything mainstream puts out there in terms of news. Almost everything he talks about on his Twitter is like the opposite of what I think to be true.
I used to watch some of his videos before.
Yeah, I don't think I mean I just don't think I could tolerate him at the end of the day. But he did do this great. He's got this great interview series with Kirkman, the creator of Walking Dead, of course. And he actually, I think this is really an interesting thing because he actually was willing to talk about his experience with Marvel. And holy shit, like someone like that coming forward and talking about what it was like to work with Marvel is a big deal. And it's really showing like creators, they're not afraid, they're becoming less afraid of going, talking about the biggest comic publisher in the world because they know that's not where their future is.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
By the fact of having interest, people know that they can create stuff now that their fans would be interested, right? Gives them a freedom. Like Kirkman is one of them. He used to try and work everywhere, and now he's a partner at Image, right? He does his own thing. He has his own imprint.
Yep.
Right. So
he's not afraid.
No.
He's like, what are you going to do to me? And it's like I was impressed. So we're going to watch a little bit of that. Ryan Miller Art says that Comic Tropes guy deleted his CG explanation video. He couldn't handle the heat. That sounds about right.
Oh yeah, he did.
This guy can't handle the heat.
No,
no doubt about that. Just look at his Twitter feed, and it's like, oh man, it's everything you would expect from an SJW.
Hey Rod, can you send me the link after of that video?
To his channel or to the video?
Yeah, the interview. Yeah,
sure. And I think this is like might be part 2 or even 3. I think he broke it up into several parts. But this was the part that really caught my interest here.
While I was doing homeless on Farland, I was very upset with Marvel Comics. Did not like them. I won't get into too many details.
And now the conclusion.
I just love that part with that expression he makes where he realizes like, holy shit, I'm doing this. I'm actually doing this.
It's the face that's like it's a mix of a really big smile, like he's laughing, right? But you have the expression in his face of like crying, like he wants to cry but laughing at the same time. So it's really, it's really bad.
Exactly, and it's like I don't even know if he knew going into this interview that he was going to drop these bombs, but it's like I love the fact that he feels secure in what he's doing, what he's built for himself. That he can do this, and it's really important. I think we're going to see more of this going on, and Marvel is in real trouble. It's creative talent. Whatever they have left that they're holding on to is not going to be there long.
But people are realizing that they never respected creators any other creators. And especially when you realize that a lot of information was hidden for a while that was available before, because people forgot that Stan Lee was gone for 12 years trying to hit it in the movies. There's a lot of shit that people forgot, right? So right now it's like people are realizing that Marvel and DC is a legacy that was built upon the grave of creators. Technically, to be putting it softly, that's what happened. They stole a whole bunch of stuff, and they built an empire on it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, dude. So let's hear some of what he has to say about his experience there. It's pretty shocking, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a
You
good
never
time
really
there.
have
Like, it was-
explained what you were so upset about. I mean, you can keep it to yourself because I don't want to. But is it anything?
No,
you
it was
can
just, it was
explain?
very,
It's so
it was
long
very,
ago.
no, it was very restrictive. I mean, I have a great relationship, I think, with Tom Brevoort. I think he was a fantastic editor. I loved working with him. It's just like, I don't know. I mean, Joe Quesada and I do not get along. There were a lot of things that I got blamed for that didn't really happen. And I would explain, like, that's not what I meant by that. Like, what are you talking about? And then they'd get more mad at me. And then I would get mad because, like, a comic book would come out with a word balloon on the cover. And I'd be like, why would you put a word balloon on the cover of my book without, like, telling me or running it by me or letting me write the dialogue or, I don't know, God forbid, letting me do the word balloon? Like, this is a bad looking word balloon. I don't like this dialogue. I would have taken my time to, like, do this right. Like, I don't know why you guys wouldn't just let me do this. And then
That, that right there is like the lack of respect for someone's creative integrity, their passion for their project, for what they're doing, to not even include them on major decisions.
Yeah,
like,
dude,
what's going on the cover? It's like, fuck that, dude.
they turned into McDonald's, dude. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, it turned into like it's a fast food service. So they don't really care that much to just let's slap down on it. All right, I have a great idea. Boom, we don't have to pay him.
Yeah, exactly. How you doing, Dave?
Yeah,
So-
not bad, not bad. Thought I'd jump
Yeah.
in. Quite an interesting topic today.
Yeah. This is ComicsGate is winning so hard. I mean, the model of ComicsGate is clearly winning over people that were a year ago, 2 years ago, were just like saying the most horrible things about it are like they're going, oh shit.
Especially when
This
you
is
look
actually
at
where
it,
it's headed. This is where I need to be going.
especially when you take a little step back and take a bigger picture at it. Like, it started by, we're not happy, guys. Fuck you if you're not happy. Okay, but we're not happy, and here's why. Still fuck you. Okay, we'll go into the indie field. We'll go hit Kickstarter. Then, okay, well, fuck you. It's not gonna work. Well, okay, we're invading the indie world. Huh. Well, okay, I'll start my own thing on another platform.
Yep.
And then it was fuck you to everybody, because it's winning. We're rebalancing the what was off balance in the industry, and especially in right now we are succeeding into the indie world by technically becoming indie now.
Yes.
Indie. And soon we're gonna be winning over the mainstream as well. As you can see, we're pretty much like on our way there.
It's going to, it's going to, at the very least, force these companies to make major changes in how they treat. If
Reassess
they
their
don't
thing.
make those changes on how they treat their talent, they're going
The
to
worst
find
thing-
themselves without any talent.
Yeah, but the worst thing is that that's how it was before, right?
Mhm.
We had Neil Adams and a whole bunch of people that fought back. When they started treating them right, that's when we got the end of the 80s and 90s, the Jim Lees, the this, the that. It was fucking amazing. Then those guys left because they were fed up of being treated like shit and wanted to have their own thing. So they went to Image Comics. Then Marvel and DC went, oh fuck, we don't want to have superstars like that anymore. Let's go back to the way that we were before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so clear that they intentionally they're not going to allow people to become superstars. They don't want you to. They're going to keep you down. They're going to make
They don't want you to
feel
leave. Yeah.
like you are
Yeah.
completely, without them, without their iconic IPs, you are nothing. That's how they want you to feel.
Yeah,
I was
they don't
told
want
directly.
any-
Go, Dave.
I was going to say they don't want any other artists, writers, or anyone to be bigger than the company, bigger than the IPs. And because of that, it means that as creators, they're not growing. they're restricted on what they can do, and they end up putting out a load of shit books.
Like I was gonna say, like when I was going at the cons there, and one of the editors told me that I wouldn't get a job at Marvel or DC because they don't want to hire like Jim Lees or superstars anymore. They don't want the fans to follow an artist or a writer. They want them to follow the IP. That's it.
Yeah.
So they were considering, like, the guy even told me, like, we're right now our idea is to try and keep a minimalistic, like a simplistic and similar type of style, more like we had before. I'm like, oh, that's not gonna go well.
Right. And do you think that's? I don't
Back
really
when
know the
everybody
history
chose
of
similar.
Wizard. I don't know the history of Wizard magazine all that well in terms of why it shut down. But was that a part of it? Like, it seemed like Wizard was creating the rock star mentality. Like it was creating rock stars out of the artists and creators, and that
In a
probably
way-
wasn't.
In a way, it was, but what the thing that killed Wizard, when everything got found out that they weren't legit, you could buy your way on top.
Oh, I see. Right. Well, sure. So you just buy the Rockstar label.
Mm.
Got it. Okay, let's watch a little more of this. It gets even better for sure.
It got to a point where like they wouldn't promote some of my books because some of my books were to lower tier books, and there's a marketing budget. They can only it makes more sense to market the books that are actually going to make revenue as opposed to the books that are not going to make a lot of revenue, which is and that's the other thing. Like I was completely realistic about my stature or lack thereof at Marvel when I was there. But then I would do things where I'd be like, well, let me set up some interviews where I'll promote this and I'll do this. And that just drove them nuts. You can't do that. You can't talk to people without our permission. And I don't know what you're saying in these interviews. And I'm like, what do you talk to the outlet? Like, what do you want? Like, you want me to just do these books and not try to sell them? Like, I don't understand. And so there was a
boom. I mean, this is ultimately why these companies aren't going to survive the new landscape, because not only they won't let a creator who's passionate about what they've created go out and promote a project or a book that's through them. They don't want them. They won't let them. It's all controlled.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, this is not the way moving forward.
Dude,
with
did you
comics.
ever hear his story of how he got The Walking Dead published?
No, I haven't heard it.
He was pitching the book, right? And Image was refusing it. Oh yeah, nobody's gonna be interested in a zombie book. No, nobody would be interested in it. So he lied. He said that it was a zombie book, right? But the thing is, it was really a sci-fi, because you were gonna find out he was gonna put hints in issues down the line, so that at the end you would discover that it was all a planned alien invasion, that they were using that to take over our planet. So he's like, "Oh fuck yeah, okay, I'm in." And he was
Nice.
more than half the way in, and the editor went to him and go, "Dude, where are the fucking hints for that?" "Oh no, I just fucking lied."
What are you going to do now? It's already
It's the biggest fucking hit.
Damn, dude. That's what it takes sometimes, man. That's brilliant. I know EVS has mentioned that he's learned quite a bit from Kirkman as well, just like the idea that, and you've talked about this too, Sim, always having that passive income.
Yep.
Always making your work available in different forms, always giving people another chance to get what you've already created. I think Kirkman does a really good job with that as well. And it's so important if you want to make a living at this, to create that passive income.
You need passive income. You need a demand, and you need accessibility.
Yeah.
And you do need collectability, and there's no collectability without demand.
Right. Exactly.
If nobody knows about Superman, well, it's worthless.
I just can't. It's so bewildering to think that these companies won't allow their talent to promote a project. That it doesn't make any, to a rational person, it doesn't make any sense.
It does, but it doesn't. It's like I told you, they don't want. It's like somebody said in one of the interviews. He says, with Image, it's his book. When they schedule an interview, he's there. He's the one they schedule. If he would be with Dark Horse, it would be the editor of Dark Horse, because they are the face. It's like Marvel would send Stan Lee, because they want those faces identified to their company, not him, because he can leave.
Right.
So the thing is, if he goes out and he promotes the book with one of the big two, then it's a Robert Kirkman book. It's not a Marvel book. It's not a DC book.
Exactly.
It's like I'll pick up, like, because like I said before, I'm hybrid CG. I still buy Marvel. It's like I'll pick up a book and I'll look at the names on there and I'm like, who the fuck are these people? Like, I don't know a single one of them. They're artist, writer, anyone on it. And then, do you know how I learn about these people? Is you find the shit that they said on Twitter, which then pushes you towards CG. And it's like, hold on.
Right.
Like, so the only people that tend to speak out are the people that are pushing this left-wing SJW agenda, which they don't seem to mind Marvel and DC, apparently.
That's even more baffling. Like, what in the world? Like,
but then when you got people that speak sense and they actually want to get you selling thousands more copies of your book, no, we don't want that. No, it's not worth it. It's so frustrating, especially still being a Marvel reader, because I'm like one of those people. I'm still holding out hope that the Amazing Spider-Man's going to get better.
yeah,
I read through 20 odd issues the other week, and it took me 17 issues, I think, till I found a story which was actually, hold on, this is actually okay. It's pretty good. Found one issue 23.
Ouch.
It's like
damn.
Yeah, I know.
How long? How long are you gonna hold to that hope, or is there a point where you're just gonna be like, okay, I'm just done?
Put it this way, my pull list is cut down considerably now. Like, there's a lot of stuff I don't even bother with anymore. But there's a few things that do surprise me. Like, I'm currently reading Donny Cates' Venom run, which I'll give him credit. He's a weird fucker, but it's actually a pretty good book.
Yeah.
But I can't say that for a lot of their books at the moment. Which
I've actually wasn't able to delve into it or research this, but I think Cates might even be going his own, like, looking to put out some projects, like, independently. So it's all these guys are realizing this house is falling down. We better leverage whatever fan base or celebrity we have from working for these companies, and we better build our own house here real quick, because it's not going to last.
Yeah.
So when you see someone of Kirkman's stature just willing to come to the table and talk about Marvel this way, it's, the writing has been on the wall, but now it's like, oh shit, this is happening, man. This is falling down. Let's hear a little bit more of this.
DC went as far as going back and changing the art of Michael Turner in reprints. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, dude. I think I'm not going to watch this whole thing, but I do think there might be some really good stuff coming up here.
And look, the fact of the matter is, I was a self-publisher who had gone to work at Image, and Image is a very free environment. If you've done self-publishing, Image is the absolute best, like, place to be, because you're capable of doing everything, but Image is capable of handling anything you don't want to handle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then I go to Marvel, and I'm like, I can do all this stuff. I can handle all this stuff. I'm willing to handle all this stuff. I'm willing to help out. And it was just not a good fit. Like, they read that as arrogance. Like, well, I'm better than them and I can do this. And it's like, no, I care about the books more than a lot of writers care about the books. I care about all aspects of the books.
Yeah.
I got into a big fight one time. I'll tell this story because we were planning an Ultimate crossover. And at the time, Brian had been doing Ultimate X-Men, and Brian Bendis and Mark Miller had been doing Brian had been doing Ultimate Spider-Man, Mark Miller had been doing Ultimate X-Men. And there were a lot of random miniseries that had happened in the Ultimate line, but it was all very contained collection-wise. So Ultimate 6 was a book that Brian Bendis and Trevor Hairsine had done that was a crossover with Spider-Man and the Sinister Six, and it was like a separate book that was collected as a trade paperback. But when it was collected as a hardcover, it was collected in the Ultimate Spider-Man hardcover line. Mark Miller had done a crossover called Ultimate War, and that was drawn by Chris Picciolo. And when that was collected in the Ultimate X-Men hardcover line. And so what that means is Ultimate War was a Spider-Man-centric event that was collected with Spider-Man hardcovers, and Ultimate War was an X-Men-related event that was collected in X-Men hardcovers. So as a writer, if you're writing Ultimate War, you're not going to write a very important Spider-Man scene that is continuity heavy, that is going to be a missing piece when you read through the X-Men hardcover, or the Spider-Man hardcovers, trying to get all this straight.
Yeah.
And when you're writing Ultimate 6, you're not going to do a big X-Men scene that's going to be missing when you read the X-Men hardcovers. Right. So we're planning this Ultimate event, and I say,
Sorry, guy, I didn't realize this was going to take so long. I'm going to pause it for a second, so I don't get hit. But
He makes
I'm
a
fascinated
really
by. I
good
think,
point.
yeah, I think I'll drop this link to this chat, to this interview in the chat, and definitely check out the whole thing. We're gonna finish out what he's saying here, and that before we move on.
Is this going to be an X-Men leaning event? Is this going to be a Spider-Man leaning event? Like, what is the way that this leans, so that I know, like, I've got this big story I'm building with Nightcrawler. I'm not going to touch on it in this event because this event is going to be collected in Spider-Man hardcovers. Like, it's a very, I thought, basic question.
I get it.
And Joe Quesada writes me this email back that's like, why don't you worry about the story before you worry about your X-Men royalties? Like, who cares about where a book is collected and who's getting the royalties from that story? Like, why don't you just focus on the writing? What's wrong with you?
So I thought it was just about money that you were curious.
Yeah. And in my response, I don't think I said this, but my response was like, I'm making nickel and dimes from you assholes. Like, I'm making crazy money, at the time, from Invincible and Walking Dead. My collections are doing great. I'm working for nickels over here at Marvel, and I get treated like crap, and I get yelled at all the time for just trying to put an extra level of care in the books. And so that's really what it got.
Unbelievable, man. Like, who wants to put up with that shit when it's so obvious? If you have talent, if you can put together a comic book that people want, why would you subject yourself to that kind of treatment, that kind of fucking bullshit? Why? He's like, I'm making nickel and dimes here compared to what I'm doing over here, where I have total freedom to do whatever I want. It's so clear.
Now it makes more sense when you go see some of the artists at cons where they look so miserable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's as more and more of these stories come out, as more people step forward and start sharing their experiences, there's going to be a mass exodus. And you've got a book like Cyberfrog breaking $1 million in a single campaign for a single book. With a lot of ingenuity, a whole hell of a lot of work in terms of promotion. But Jesus, the freedom of it, man. To be out from under the thumb of these companies, to make your own path, it's becoming very appealing, I think. So I can't see Marvel and DC holding on to talent much longer.
Well, no, how many people have come over recently, like on EVS's stream? Every time I seem to watch one, we get someone new pop up, or he mentions someone new is declaring ComicsGate. And
what was it? Shane Davis?
Yeah.
Shane Davis and Rocaford.
Yeah, dude.
Rocaford.
Great artist, man. Great artist. And I don't know if he actually was able to come on the stream. I'm not, I don't
No,
think
he didn't get on it in the end, but he got EVS to declare him, basically. So I was like,
yeah.
All right.
This is going to be, and a lot of these guys may not fully come over and declare ComicsGate, but they're certainly gonna throw their hat in the ring when it comes to crowdfunding their own IPs. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. The thing is with this as well is, right, the more pros that come over to ComicsGate, the more slots that open up over there. Now, this is where Marvel and DC have a choice. They can fill it with people they've been filling it with, SJWs, more people that are just going to destroy the company. Or they can look to actually try and get some talent in there that don't know anything about ComicsGate and start rebuilding the company and try and save it. DC's in a much worse place than Marvel in terms of that. Because obviously, Marvel's safe-ish, Disney and everything. But DC have got a lot of fixing to do if they want to carry on as they are.
Yeah, and I don't, in terms of treatment, I don't know. It seems like DC was maybe, better than Marvel in terms of treatment, but I'm not, I can't really speak to that directly. It just seems like there was a little bit more.
They pay more royalties, even Ethan said it.
Yeah, exactly. So, that doesn't mean everything, but it seems like there may be more respect for the talent, but I do think the mentality is similar in that they don't want the talent to outshine the IPs. and they're really going to have to get over that hurdle, or they're not going to be making comics that people want to buy. It just, you've got to let your talent be a rock star. You have to, because the alternatives are, there's too many alternatives for creators to go out on their own and make it happen for themselves. If these companies aren't going to let these people rise to that level, working on their properties, it's going to be real tough to hold talent.
They need to create stars again. They need to let people shine. If they don't, that's when you end up with all this bullshit that's going on over there right now. It's people with groupthink that just want to have things their way and aren't interested in anyone who's got a different opinion or different politics. And it's frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is the interesting, declaring CG isn't important, working with CG is. That's an interesting statement. It seems like that's, that may be becoming more relevant as things evolve and move forward.
I get the point. I get the point of, like, you don't need to take, declaring CG could be considered like taking a political stand in a way, or taking a side. While, when you're trying to be professional and you're like work for hire side, you can't really be picky if the person is CG or not, right? Like, am I gonna ask, like, are you left or right? Do you believe in CG or not? Because I can't work for you.
Yeah, that might be a show unto itself talking about this, but
because
that's
what Weft has been doing, right? He's been claiming that he's not CG, but he works with them. So
exactly.
There's a few like that did the same thing, like Tucci. Hold on a sec.
Yeah, it's like Tucci certainly isn't hasn't declared ComicsGate and isn't going to.
But Fraga came in going, boom, I'm CG.
Exactly.
Yeah, Fraga don't give a fuck. It's like, which is great, because that's the right attitude to have, and I think more people need to have that attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
at least be willing to say hello, ComicsGate. You don't have to sit there and declare ComicsGate and have all your shit hashtagged with ComicsGate. Just be willing to say hello and work with ComicsGate on a professional level. And I think that's going to be the thing moving forward, is more and more and more people are going to be willing to be like, wait, ComicsGate isn't. They tried to push that narrative about it being, it's some kind of hate group and it's this or that. As more and more people are willing to work with CG professionally, it's already falling away. It's already going away. So,
I can understand the point of view of Ryan Miller going, like, an artist might not have to declare CG as long as he's willing to work with them. I can understand that.
Yeah, for sure.
And the thing is,
how dare you be professional?
Right?
I know, it's awful.
I suppose the thing is with it. The thing is with it as well is the more companies or individuals that come and work with CG that don't necessarily claim CG, it might rub off on them. Like, it might help. Like Dynamite, for example, do we feel like they maybe might make more improvements to follow the ethos of CG without actually completely declaring it?
Right. Yeah, and it's some people it's going to turn off. Like, you work too much, you go too close to what some might consider mainstream, and that might turn away some people. But it could also bring more people in. So it's going to be a give and take. And as always, it's up to the individual to make that call on who they're going to support. So, yeah. I thought this was interesting, too. I was checking out Kirkman's Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just kind of going through, and he did this really cool thing where he sent comic shops this cool tall poster for his new project, Firepower. I thought that was really smart, and the comic shops are posting photos of this poster in their shops. It created a lot of goodwill. So this guy, he knows how to market his stuff. He knows how to engage the shops and customers, And I'm also seeing, he's promoting other image creators. And it's like, man, CG really is the new image because it's the same kind of model, right? If you're part of that image family, that image thing that's going on, you're going to promote the other creators in image on your platform, on your Twitter. And that's, it really is
But let's
what
not make
CG does.
it's like, yeah, but I think that's a mistake a bit. Like, yes, it's like a new wave of me. I call it like the new independent movement instead of saying that it's like the new image. Because the
Mhm.
new image, keep in mind that it was like 6 or 7 people that decided to be, bros in arms to start an actual company, right? And they were all getting, distribution and this like that. They ended up competing with each other. It broke them. Then they had to rebuild and reshape.
Right.
So the reason why I'm saying is that there's been a lot of conversation about why we shouldn't say that it's very like the new image, because yes, a lot of us CG can be a community. A lot of the creators are supportive. They'll promote. They're this, they're that, they're this, they're that, but not everybody.
Right.
I mean, they're not CG though.
I agree. I agree.
It's like
That's probably
some people are having an issue with Ethan and stuff like that because of that premise.
right.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like we're more like a new independent movement. Like, when Pulido came out with the Lady Dusk, she staged sim with Cerberus back in the early '80s. This is where we are. It's more a new independent movement that's going than a new image. Now, can there be a new image coming out of all of this? Yes.
I think I agree with you. It's not. I don't think that would be smart to frame it that way. CG being the new image, but I just found it. I just noticed it as I was going through his Twitter feed that there's a lot of cross promotional stuff going on with the creators supporting each other's books.
I
I'm
just
like,
think
damn.
it's important to highlight it because you have a lot of little creators sometimes that come in with the entitled behavior, saying that just because they say they're CG, they think that Ethan's going to support them, that anybody's going to support them.
Right.
It's like, no, you come here, do the work, and yes, people are supportive, but
Yeah.
don't expect it. It's not an old thing.
And this Drawing Aces brings up, a really valid point when it comes to Dynamite. They do have a lot of SJW. I don't know if she still does. Wasn't Gail Simone connected to Dynamite?
Gail
Or
Simone
maybe
and
still
Mark Waid.
is.
Mark Waid too.
So yeah, there is that, and that's again, for I think a lot of people in ComicsGate, that's going to turn people away. That's going to turn people off if that relationship becomes too intertwined. And maybe an Ethan project comes out as a Dynamite with the logo on it and all of that's really, that could definitely piss a lot of people off.
My way of seeing this is like I'm not a big Dynamite fan. I don't think Dynamite is CG. I don't consider Dynamite CG, but I consider Dynamite a company that some CG are considering going to work for. That's
Yeah.
my way of seeing it. Now, are they good? Are they this? Are they CG? I don't know. I don't know, and I don't think they're CG. We'll see how that goes. But I agree with. I don't think it's a good thing because I consider them more mainstream. But we'll see.
It's certainly something to keep an eye on. What would surprise me is that people like Gail Simone would continue working with or for a Dynamite if if they're working with EVS. It seems like they would just leave or try to end it.
It doesn't start well when a company is trying to come into CG doing reprints of books with different variant cover. I don't think it's it looks good or promising, you could say. But they did launch a first book now with Miss Fury, which was a book that was promoted 2 years ago, never got published.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not a project. I'm not interested in that project myself.
Like it's one thing. Like I've never promoted anything that was the Dynamite variant cover at all. I'm just not interested, and I don't think they represent CG. But even there, like I promote what I like. That you don't have to be CG for me to. If I like your thing, I'll retweet it. See, that's what I'm saying. It's not a prerequisite.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You know, I like Dave Finch. I've met Dave Finch multiple times. When I see him live, I still retweet his thing. He's not CG. I don't care. I like the guy.
Yeah, and I think that's important too.
Yeah.
For everyone to just, build relationships with individuals. If you like someone and there's mutual respect there, and they've always treated you well, and the people around you well, it's like, just use some common sense.
Dave
when it
Finch
comes to
always
that
been a
shit.
sweetheart. Yeah. He's always been cool as hell. He's polite. He's freaking nice. He takes time with his fans. You have, if you like right now, if I wanted to, I could probably send him a message going, "Hey, I was wondering, I'm having trouble with this when I'm doing this," and he'll answer me. And probably Dave too. He's a cool guy, and we need more of those. It's like Frag, like Genuine. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to say too, Frega Boom is going to be on Midday Repartee this Friday, and we're going to be talking about like how he came into ComicsGate, how to do that with maximum style and impact. He's gonna drop some really good tips, and I think we're gonna have a good time.
See, Ryan made a good point there. I'm libertarian. If Dynamite hire me, doesn't mean they're libertarian. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
Wasn't that one of the things that CG that Ethan mentioned anyway about like you should be able to work for who you want to work for?
Yeah.
And not have any barricades to that. So hence going to work for someone like Dynamite if you are CG, isn't that part of it? Being able to go through the door and actually have a career.
So technically it would be like, I'm not allowed to work for Magic the Gathering if they want an art of me for a card, or a gaming company. They have to be CG for me to work for them for a design.
Yeah, so I mean it's.
Yeah, it starts getting real muddy.
As long as they don't say like you need to denounce your friends and say that on live that you're not CG, then I'll go again. I've done it before. Fuck off.
Right, and it's this. Go ahead, Dave.
I was gonna say, it was that woman who she was doing cards. Didn't she get attacked by the SJWs and got booted off of? I can't remember her name. I know Andrew Herter had some issues with that as well.
Oh, right. Yeah. I think again, if a company is aware of your affiliations with ComicsGate, they understand what it is, and they're willing to work with you on a professional level. That says a lot. That speaks volumes right there. They're not afraid of it. They're not buying into the narratives about it, and they're willing to take that risk for the talent. So
L makes a good point there. Vampirella and Cyberfog were under the same publication at one point in the beginning.
Yeah,
I always thought it was a historical thing. That made sense. I agree with him. That actually made sense.
Yeah, that didn't. I didn't think anything of it at the time.
I still wasn't interested, and I didn't retweet it because it's not something I was interested in.
Yeah, but as that relationship deepens with EVS and Dynamite, of course, some people are gonna take issue with it, and that's completely up to the individual, man. Some people want to be CG purists. They only want someone who is 100% only CG all the time, and that's your choice to do that. And I've got to say, I lean more that way than not. I want all my money to go into ComicsGate right now. That's where my head's at. So I get it. I totally get that.
Yep.
Gargoyle does make a good point about, there's always going to be people that just want their shot at these incredibly iconic characters. What I kind of see Marvel and DC becoming is really just, instead of it becoming the final goal of an artist or a creator, more like a stepping stone.
IP.
They're going to be, it's like a stepping stone. They're gonna look at it as, I can do my run on this iconic book, and then that will allow me to go off on my own and have a successful independent career. So I think if Marvel and DC doesn't really change the way they do things, they're going to become stepping stones rather than, the final achievement for people.
Oh yeah, and what do you think about how many stories they've already got in the backlog? Like how many past that would last movie companies like
Yeah.
decades,
And
and decades.
it takes way less work for them, and they make way more money off of making movies and series now.
Right.
They don't have they don't invest half the time to prepare any story as what they did before.
Yeah, I don't. Dan definitely can provide his own edibles. He has no need of that for me. He's just that generous a guy. He's willing to come on
Yeah,
a channel like this.
He's the one that sent you the edibles to be drunk.
He's like, I'll only come on if you're high
Yeah.
with me. That was part of the deal. Will Rotten wear the peacock crown when Fraga is on?
How high? So high
that
that we can kiss the sky.
Yeah, I might. Maybe I will. I might have to don my plumage for that show. That could be funny. Yeah. So yeah, Kirkman, really cool interview.
Yep.
Check. I think I dropped the link to that in the chat, so I definitely encourage people to check that out. I also wanted to, Thinking Critical has just been putting out really good videos lately. Thinking Critical YouTube channel, I've really been enjoying the content. I'll drop a link to this one as well.
Oh, Scotsman joined us in the chat, dude.
Nice.
He goes, "There's a simple remedy to being a stepping stone. It's something called non-compete agreement. Happens every day in business. They can choose to not change as much as they want."
Right. So, I mean, so what that would be is they're not allowed to work on anything outside of the company while they work for them, or
There's different ways, but it's like the example I was going to give you is like before there was no real competition between Marvel and DC. They would meet like once a month and organize their type of friendly competition.
right.
So they wouldn't have all the same book coming out at the same time or stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, certainly.
And one of the things that they tried in Marvel and DC was to, remember it was the priority contract, their exclusivity contracts, and that didn't last too long because they were trying to sign up people like, oh, you're a new talent, so you're ours for 5 years at that price.
Yeah, that's insane.
You can't
man.
work nowhere else but here for 5 years at that said price. And you're like, huh.
Yeah, this is a valid. I'm just going to be really curious to see how Marvel and DC try to contend with the new marketplace, with more top talent kind of eyeballing crowdfunding and realizing, wow, this really can work for me, and I don't maybe need you guys.
Like he says, the actual non-compete one is the one that you cannot work for the competing company for a certain amount of time after you leave that said company.
Brutal.
That's to protect you going in and giving them something from the company or a competing edge. Like, hey, here's an insider of what they're working on right now.
Yeah,
that's what the non-compete is technically like. The idea of like vengeance buying, you could say.
Right. Reno, if someone wants to be CG only, then be CG only. I don't get trying to police other people's choices to earn an income. Is there some CG only publisher I'm not aware of? Well, as far as I know, the only that would be War Campaign uses the CG only branding, and I totally get wanting to support CG only, but I don't think I would hold an artist or a creator to only work on a ComicsGate projects, like for me to be like want to support them. If they got work somewhere else,
It comes to
Like,
say like
fine.
in comics, I could maybe understand, but it's like
Yeah.
saying, what am I? Is everybody supposed to quit their day job until if they can't make a living off of the comic stuff in the ComicsGate right now? Like,
Yeah.
obviously, like me, all I want to do is just work on my comics for you guys. But a lot of us have to have a job on the side.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not gonna, if an artist needs to take work with other companies to supplement their income while they're building a fan base and their platform, by all means, they're still ComicsGate. If they're still declaring ComicsGate and they're in the network and promoting other projects, it's like,
I mean, one thing's for
dude,
sure,
I'm all in.
ComicsGate's the first one to get all my books.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is a little snippet from Thinking Critical's video, and I will get this posted in the chat, but let's take a look at this. Some pretty interesting stuff.
It would be pretty funny if, in the end, all these YouTubers and critics that the pros have been lambasting and hating on for so long, that it eventually showed them the life raft that gave them financial security and creative freedom to do what they wanted while they went out there and they certainly didn't create the market. The market's been there for a while. And you look at Brian Polito over there with, I think it's Coffin Comics. He does, I think, a crowdfunded comic quarterly. They always do over $250,000. So it's not like the formula wasn't there for success, but it had been used limited. Now you have people like Ethan Van Sciver, you have Richard C. Meyer, who've been very critical of the comic book industry and have been much derided and essentially kicked out as not wanting to belong. But they certainly are showing a lot of these creators a blueprint for success outside of Marvel and DC, where you can kind of do your own thing and you don't have to be relying on somebody else's characters and someone else's success.
People coming from the mainstream are never going to admit that, and it's a shame because they should. It doesn't matter whether or not you like the messenger. If the message is correct,
boom. I mean, that's just well stated. I love, we're going to be hearing this a lot more moving forward. More channels devoted to comics, seeing the success of CG, seeing how things have shifted in the marketplace. I think ComicsGate is winning so big. I just love hearing this kind of thing coming out.
It's eyes on the prize. It's eyes on the finish line. They're fighting. They're doing this. They're doing their propaganda. They're doing all their stupid shit while we're heading for that finish line. We're the turtle. They're the hare.
Yes. Your favorite analogy strikes again. Yes. So it's just so cool and encouraging to hear I guess the messaging on CG and your boy Zach and Ethan Van Sciver. We're seeing it shift. We're seeing people be a lot more willing to give them credit for what they've achieved and recognizing where the market is actually going. Vinny, welcome to the show.
Oh yeah, brother. What's up?
Hey guys.
How you doing, man?
Not too much. Am I coming in all right?
Yep,
I can hear you good.
Because it says over here is having some problems with the connection.
Sounds good. Yeah, I don't know what you've heard or how long you've been here, but we're just kind of going over this shift in attitude. I think that's really becoming apparent. A lot more people are willing to give ComicsGate.
We got the perfect guy, and that's the perfect guy to talk about how shitty Quesada and Marvel can be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're horrible, man. They're fucking the worst.
Yeah, I do.
It's disgusting what the industry turned into, but I saw a little bit of the Robert Kirkman interview, what he said, and yeah, he couldn't be more accurate. I've dealt with editors there that have done the same thing almost word for word. The flip-flopping nature, the bullshit, and then when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, if they don't like you, for whatever reason it is, they're going to treat you like shit and step all over you. They're full of liars and nasty people. That's why I said it for the longest time. The only way that's ever going to be fixed is if they clean out all of editorial, and they're not going to do it. They rather see the whole ship sink to the bottom of the ocean. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have like the vultures that come sweeping in. The little companies that think that they could still snatch up things and get their fingers in all the pies. It's very odd, the landscape right now. But what it comes down to is getting the best work possible out there being respectful to fans, doing what you have to. If there's any little fuck ups and things along the way, make it right. But like fans, they have to also be a little more understanding too, like where we're coming from, because everything is on our shoulders when it comes to this stuff. There are no middlemen. There's no one who's really helping out anybody. I can speak on my behalf only, but it's the tremendous amount of work from creating these entire worlds, these comics, from top to bottom, then having to do your own marketing, then having to deal with printers directly, the whole shipping nonsense. There's so many things along the way that makes this very difficult. That's why we try to do our best. Some days, we have good days and bad days, but we always have to be there for the fans and for other creators. When we're not, that's when it falls to shit. When we let snakes come in, we let the vipers into the den, that's when things also get ruined. That's why a lot of people are very protective. I'm seeing the divide all the time. It's because of shit like that. It's a strange situation with what's been going on. I've been working damn hard, so I haven't paid attention to everything. But from the stuff that I'm seeing, you could see there's going to be another change up soon. It's weird, but I'm sticking to myself. I'm sticking to helping out other creators. I need to get a little bit more showcases happening. I'm doing one today, but it's that we have to have each other's back. That's how it's going to work. Otherwise, we're like the mainstream. And what do? They talk shit about one another. They stab each other in the back. If you're not a big enough name, they step all over you. It's a routine.
Yeah, dude. And you've been one of the hardest working creators in CG. Not just the work you do on your books, but on your channel and promoting other projects and just being outspoken, going on shows, all like coming on here today on this little channel I've got going. Dude, I really appreciate you being here. And that level of passion is, you can't put a price on that.
Dude, can you share my screen just for a sec? We're talking about this, and this just popped out into my feed, and I just had to. Give me a sec.
Stop writing for fucking Marvel and DC, and you will succeed. Stop writing for fucking Marvel and DC, and you will succeed.
Yes,
sorry, dude. Just passing my.
Awesome.
It's on what we're saying right now.
Beautiful, man.
But you see who he's talking to? He's talking to other writers and people that are in Marvel and DC. Mm-hmm. He's not talking to the little creator. He's talking to the people who are already there, because he knows they could leave and make a fortune like he did. It's crazy. Like I said, that used to be my old boss, so I kind of know how he thinks, and I know what he's been saying.
Yeah,
so I have my own views on that, but
sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
Not all bad. They're not all bad, but
but
I'm just saying in general how things are. But yeah,
the idea is technically the general thing is it's stop trying to just hit there and think about creating your own thing.
Of course, man. Of course. And just going back for a second, on what you said, Rot. Dude, to come on here is a joy. I see everyone here as an equal, and that's the thing. That's how everyone should be.
Yep.
Look at your fellow creators and the other people who are working just as hard to get good content out there, to keep people educated on what we're doing, to have fun. Again, you guys are all fucking equals. So there is on this small channel, whatever. We're only a couple of hundred away from each other on subs anyway. I don't have a monster channel or anything.
Right?
No. You're awesome, bro. You're awesome.
No, you're a true CG rock star. There's no doubt about that.
You guys are too kind, but like I said, it comes down to being genuine. Don't put on a fucking act. Don't put on a face. Have fun with one another. Do like you would do at a convention.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, that's great advice. And it's it takes practice, especially on YouTube. And getting comfortable with it, learning how to just let yourself be yourself.
Oh yeah,
there's nothing to it. You just got to do it and do it and do it until you get that comfort level.
Mm-hmm.
like I was gonna say, like the expression "fake it till you make it," means believe in yourself till you make it, not be a fake.
Right. Of course.
Yes, indeed. I find it really encouraging that people like Kirkman are becoming more willing to step forward and share these stories about Marvel, and I think it's going to inspire a lot more people to be like,
Yeah.
that's not the place to be. That's not where we should be headed with comics.
Of course, and I hope so. I mean, the guy is a millionaire. He's got nothing to worry about. So I'm happy he's finally coming out and saying it. But I know he's always been a little bit outspoken about things. But for him to call them out by name, my hat goes off to him. Because, let's face it, Quesada is one of the most hated men in comics across the board. DC said it. They never want to do another crossover until he's been fired. These kind of things, they're common knowledge. It's not that it's CG specifically against him or anything. And like I said, Kirkman saying it is more proof. Quesada's he's a big problem. He's been hurting this comic book industry left and right. There's nothing to praise this guy on. He's
the worst thing that happened to comics.
Of course, and and people who are still tight with him, or that bothers me. That's not something that's a good thing. That means there's poison already in the well.
Right.
It's not good.
Yeah, dude. No, I'm just hearing what you have to say about CG, and what it really boils down to is just having each other's backs, building those relationships with individuals, and not, when somebody comes around trying to start some shit, always fall back on what you know a person to be from your own interactions with them, and just have each other's backs, man.
Mm-hmm.
Totally, man. Like I said, I don't take sides. I'm there for fans and for creators. I like, even with Gat, I know a lot of people have been fighting with War Campaign too. I already told Gat and Doodlebags, you guys are welcome on my show. I like your project. I have the first one.
Same here.
I'm happy to showcase this project. I don't care what anyone else's bullshit is. And don't bring it to my table because I'm not going to deal with it.
Nice, dude.
This whole thing is about, we came into it to be creators and to get great product out there. Pure and simple. Not to have a back and forth, not to be some kind of internet celebrities. What we're doing is giving a piece of ourselves every time we get on a stream, every time we finish a project.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we got to get back to.
Like me, I invited Gat and Doodlebags at the Doodle and Chill.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do it. I have the book. I backed the second one. I'm not gonna. So I'm saying, I agree with Vinny on everything that he just said. Like I back and support the books I like, the creators I like, and I'm not gonna get involved in those fights and pick sides and shit.
Right.
That's not how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, dude. Very nice. I've dropped links to Through the Woods and City of Venus by Vinny. Those are both still in demand, and I'm assuming those go out right away if people.
Yeah, they do.
Nice.
They absolutely do. There might be a little bit delay with people in Europe and stuff like that. I have these little hiccups here and there, but that's because of what's been going on. The post office is so backed up all over the place. But yeah, if you put an order in, I get it out immediately. So
very good, dude. Love Through the Woods. Absolutely beautiful production, man.
Thank you, man.
Every once in a while, I just got to pick it up and give it a little knock. Yeah, it's beautiful, man. You really, I think your dedication to quality with what you put out there is really commendable as well. You're not sparing any expense on that front.
Yeah, clearly not. Like I said, I didn't make any big money on that because it is a hardcover and I did not hit six figures. So don't think I'm rolling in it.
Yeah. What's your next project? What's up next for Vinny?
I'm currently working on it right now. It's a pirate story. It's going to be more of a traditional pirate story. There's going to be a lot of violence, beautiful locations, betrayal, action. It's going to have the works in there.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Do you have an email? Do you have an email sign up going for that right now?
Not yet. I'll probably do it in another month or two because, like I said, it's going to be close to 50 pages, and I'm at the halfway mark around there. So there's still a good number of pages to do, and I don't like to run a campaign until I'm close to finishing it. That way, when it's done, when the campaign's done, I could fulfill right away. It's just how I
Yeah. And you know all the hours you're gonna have to spend promoting, being on YouTube, doing that whole thing.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure it's a relief if you've got the majority of the work done. That's got to you can just be like, okay, time to focus on promotion.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now, because I'm also doing some freelance work still. So I still got to pay the bills. That's just how it's going to be. So if like Through the Woods and City of Venus keep selling well, I don't have to take on as much freelance work. So that means I get to the Pirate Book even sooner. So the support is much appreciated.
Yes.
It's all about that
Yes,
income
indeed.
stream.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude. And
But mate,
are you thinking about setting up like your own online store for people to get your products, or are you going to just kind of use the in-demand thing?
Well, I've been doing in demand. I don't know, things might change later on, but like City of Venus isn't going to last forever. It's when I start working on the next one.
Yeah.
Right after the Pirate Book, I'm working on City of Venus 2, and that means the
Cool.
first campaign will end. So like I said, there's still some time, but it's not going to last forever. So
Yeah.
anyone who wants these things, please jump on them now.
Nice, dude. Yeah, I wasn't able to snag City of Venus, but yeah, I think I want to get in on that before it goes out of in demand.
Nice.
If I did miss it, are we going to be able to snag that issue when you launch number 2?
Possibly. I see what I have left on inventory, but yeah, when I get to that point, I'll be a little bit more like, I'll know, kind of like what I did with Through the Woods. I had some of the floppies left, so I counted them up, and then I put them on there, and those sold out on the first day. So again,
Cool.
your best bet is still get it while it's good now.
Yeah, yeah.
And right now too, there's also the art books that are attached to that campaign. So those are 52 pages each. There's 2 of them.
And you're gonna have your Halloween book soon too, right?
Yeah, the Halloween book I'm going to be tossing up. I think either the end of this month or beginning of next month. I got to do inventory on that because it's the same deal. Like whatever I have, I'll put the number up, and when they're gone, they're gone. But I just want to give people a chance to get them as well.
Now, doesn't one of your art books, doesn't it feature like a kind of a gothic Alice in Wonderland
Yeah, on the
piece?
cover.
I'm really considering snagging that for my lady, man. She just fucking loves that kind of
Nice.
thing.
Yeah,
I think she'd be blown away by it, dude.
Oh, yeah, I think she will like them because there's a few pinups I have in there. I know I have another Alice that's in one of those. I have a Dorothy from Wizard of Oz. Yeah, like I said, that has a little bit of everything: pinups, superheroes that you'd know, TV series, movies. Like I have a mix of all different stuff.
Very cool. Nice, man. Well, again, I really appreciate you coming on. You're welcome anytime.
Dude, a pleasure.
Yeah, yeah. And what's your next YouTube show?
It's tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to have
Okay.
Charlie's London on. There's a cover I did for her book on Charlie Chaplin. So we'll be talking about that. We'll showcase a few others.
Very cool, man. That's a great looking project.
Thanks.
Or
Yeah.
CG UK as well.
Especially that
Oh,
she
yeah.
actually got the rights from the family.
Yep.
Yeah, it's legit, man. And God damn, her passion runs deep for that. And
It really
I just
does.
know it. I think it's going to do really well.
I'm predicting 6 figures on it, if I'm honest. Like, I think the amount of interest she's got already, plus like the nicheness of it, and the fact it's about Charlie fucking Chaplin.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very smart, man. She's doing it right.
She
Sid-
really is. She's really nice about everything too. She was
Yeah.
a pleasure to work with.
Yeah, I would love to. I got to reach out to her as well, get her on the channel. Because she, like a lot of people in CG, she's also very generous with her time.
Yep.
Sim, what is there anything you'd like to shout out today?
I'd like to shout out again. Go check out Seven Legions, the Lost Pages. Right now, I just hold on, in case you guys haven't seen it. Because the 4-page short story that I'm doing for the Lost Pages has been unlocked, and it's going to be a character called Vane. So here's the first the design of the character.
All right. Damn, dude.
Nice.
Those are some fucking arms right there.
and he looks like that friendly guy that you want to be friends with him, but you don't want to be his enemy.
Yeah.
But does he lift? Does he lift?
I don't know.
Nice, dude. Very cool.
So yeah, go check them out. There's more Lethal that needs a little bit more love. Again, like go check out all our feeds on Twitter and check all the campaigns we support because they need love and support.
Yes,
And for my next project, well, go sub to Telso the Nadverse. Right now, I'm working on the four new pages of a short story of Nat and Zed. When I'm done with that, the book is everything's ready. I just have the lettering to be done and Beacon to color that Royal Rumble story. Scotland's gonna color the last 4 page of the Nat story.
Beautiful, dude.
And it should all be ready to print by the time.
Yeah, dude, you're getting close. Like once you fulfill Blood Hunt, man, you're gonna amp right up into another campaign. It's gonna be glorious.
Yeah, there was some delay on the printing because of the all the pandemic shit.
Mm-hmm.
But it ended up that I still been working on my book, remastering the old stuff because it took me months, dude, to go back on different drives and trying to redefine all those old stuff from 2012 till now, and to find them in the high thing is remember like in 2016 one of my computers exploded and the entire both drive and external drive got corrupt.
Jesus. Sucks, man.
So I lost 2 years of work on that day.
God, that's brutal. Ooh.
That's the fucking worst.
Shit, dude. Dave, anything you'd like to shout out today?
Well, as always, follow me on Twitter, Bristolian Dave. I've been chatting with SK. Do you remember SK? Came on the channel a few. Yeah, he did Terra Olympus, volumes 1 and 2. He's actually got a new book coming out called Transhuman. I put the link in the chat. Let me read this for you. It's in a world where the body can be replaced with cybernetics, what does it mean to be human? So it's
right on.
I presume set in the future.
Terra Olympus really was a great looking project. So
isn't it closed? Closed?
It's closed now. Yeah. So he's just put up his mailing list for Transhuman.
Yeah, I backed the 2-issue one, and he already sent me I got the digital like 2 days ago.
Oh, nice, dude. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, good looking book.
Yeah, with SK though, it's just his attention to detail, especially on the fight scenes, where his love of MMA really comes through in it, and it's just beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah, he was a great guest. So I'll definitely reach out and get him on here again to promote that mailing list for sure. Well, I think that's it. Everybody be sure to tune in to Vinny's channel tonight for that spotlight with Charlie's London. Thank everybody on the panel for being here as always, and the chat. You were awesome today.
Oh, one thing before I forget. Wednesday, heavy metal episode on my channel. Simon Sympathy. We talk about heavy metal magazine.
Beautiful. All right, dude. Cool. I'm sure you'll be dropping that link on Twitter.
It's been there for like the last 3 weeks already.
Okay.
I'm gonna retweet it.
That's the way to do it, man. Yeah, I'll get that retweeted as well. Thanks, chat, for being here, and we will see you tomorrow.